in the world.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me... Oh, crap. Hold on. Hold on. Here comes. Here comes. Hi! Now the stream is markedly worse. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Monday Giveaways. The laugh that you heard is the one and only Mike from Gemfan. He's not. Now I look like the coolest person in FPV.
Oh my god.
Mike's headed to his hotel in a minute because this is a giveaway stream, so there's not a whole lot for him to do. Yeah, he just got done with I.O. What were the highlights of I.O.?
We put a golf cart on top of like a bunch of tables, and both the golf cart company and the table company, they're not really happy about it, but it was really fun. was really fun. I got to meet so many awesome people that are just incredibly talented and like be part of history there and support the pilots, and that stuff is just amazing.
Every single thing I've ever heard about IO is that it's just like a wild event, even for freestyle people. It is more of a racing event, but there is a freestyle flight line.
We even got Joe Scully puking and some flashing, some dingle flashing on the official MultiGP stream. Thanks to Charlie from Hobby Wing. Thank you, Charlie. That was amazing. Showing the PP.
Oh my god. Yeah, some of the shit that I saw on his phone was scary. They put a golf cart up on a set of tables. That was fun. Looking. I didn't go. Yeah, from what this guy told me, though, it sounded like a really really fun event.
Like incredibly fun.
Very cool. In the chat, Cameron Deso, Demo FPV, Jim Pratt, Scott FPV, Frank Nicholas, Alex, Bubby FPV is in the house. What's up, Bubby?
Hey, Bubby.
Ugellin, Metal Dirtskin, Chris Long, Brandon's Baked Beans, Bob Noxious is here, Mars Tech Racing, Mark Anderson, Restyle, that's a fun name. B-Man's here, Northern Tier, Demo FPV again, Metal Dirtskin, Left Step, Tuner Taxi. What's up, Tuner? Martin, Danzel the Terrible, Samuel FPV. We're going to end it there. If you want the Gangly Man and every once in a while Mike to read your name, you got to get in early. You got to say something in the chat. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. When you do it, it'll show up in orange like this, and I'll know that you're talking to me. If you don't do that, I won't know that you're talking to me. I'll think you're talking to each other, and I'll give you your privacy so that you can say whatever nasty things you want. Don't say nasty things, though.
No, just ask for nitpicks, please.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone right now.
It's more successful.
Please comment the link to the OnlyFans, to his OnlyFans, and the nitpicks, please. Those are my only requests for being on the stream.
Bad. Demo FPV says, hey. Bob Noxious says, what's up, collective? Bob also dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, brother. This is my full-time job. CiottiFPV.com has a whole bunch of ways you can support me. To vote for these live streams to continue. Basically, Patreon helps me out the most, but there's an Etsy store, Fiverr page, bunch of shit. Affiliate links, all kinds of good stuff. Click the buttons. Make your gangly friend not starve to death. B-Man says, hey, yo, what's up, fam? Tuner Taxi says, yo, gangly man, what's up? Great Southern says, how's it going, bruv? A little bit of Martin Fuchs saying, what's up? Grizz FPV is in the house. He says, flew the glide into a creek and here wait with a busted touchscreen and everything still works. Woohoo. It's amazing how much... It's amazing how much wetness these rigs can take, is what I was going to say.
It's a nice way to reach out for my phone.
It's amazing. It's amazing how wet you can get your rigs, and they'll still work the next day. Hey, boys. Man, most of my rigs have been fully submerged in freshwater. Saltwater is a nightmare, but yeah, the majority of my rigs have been submerged at some point in their lives. And you put them on a fan, you let them dry out. Don't plug them back in. That's the big thing. Put it on top of a fan or in front of a fan. Give it like 24 hours. It'll usually dry out and be good to go. It's kind of shocking. So yeah, 661 says MCK1. Who would have guessed? Yeah, pretty much.
Man, he's just a beast.
It's pretty much a given.
He was a beast.
Him. The only person that can challenge him is really Evan. But yeah, Min Chan is just an absolute maniac. Scott FPV says, I have a 4-in-1 ESC that is only working on one side. Motors 1 and 2 work fine, but 3 and 4 don't even show up in the ESC configurator. Scott, has that ESC ever worked, or did this behavior start after a crash? If it started after a crash, chances are the ESC is blown up. Although it is weird that 2 motors would let go. But yeah, if it's a brand new ESC and this is going on, just return it. Just whoever you bought it from, just be like, look, this ain't working. You got to send me a new one. Don't waste all your time troubleshooting it. If it happened after a crash, it's probably dead. Remy Tim dropping a link that doesn't exist, and then dropping a link that does exist to CiottiFPV.com. Mark Anderson says, do you share your rates for micros online somewhere? Thanks. I do not, Mark. My rates aren't really going to do you any good. Rates are a fiercely individual thing. Your rates are yours alone. They are a culmination of how your brain works. Like, your brain has a very specific pacing, the way that you want your footage to look, and how your sort of thumbs just kind of work. Like, certain people have fingers that are a little bit more jittery than others. So yeah, my rates won't really do you any good. I do show my rates when I'm doing Betaflight setups all the time. It's basically Betaflight actual rates. You should all be using actual rates. They're miles better than any of the other rate setups. Actual rates with the center sensitivity all the way down, 700 degrees a second max rotation, and 0.7 expo. But again, those rates don't do any of you guys any good. Those are rates that I've kind of developed over the last 6 years for the way my brain, my thumbs, and the way that I want my footage to look, which is pretty cinematic. Most people that fly my rates are like horrified, but they work really well for me, and they are a big part of why my footage looks the way that it looks. So I guess the only real reason to use someone else's rates is if you absolutely love the way that their flight footage looks, and well, that's it. The only way that their rates will then work for you is if you have a similar amount of skill and or time on the sticks. Your fingers are the same amount of jitteriness as theirs, and your internal pacing is similar to what theirs are. But yeah, in my opinion, your rates are yours alone, and you should be moving them up and down to perfectly fit your flight style and the way that you want your footage to look. If you're having trouble understanding rates, there is a ton of information here on YouTube of how each one of those rate numbers work. It's pretty simple. With actual rates, the center stick sensitivity is how sensitive the center of the stick is. The expo is how sensitive the middle of the stick travel is, and then the maximum rotation is what happens at the end of the stick travel. So it's just center of the stick travel, middle of the stick travel, end of the stick travel. So you go out, you move it, you do a bunch, fly like a whole battery, just playing around in the middle of the stick travel. If it's too sensitive, or if it's not sensitive enough, you fix it, then you go back out and you play around in the middle of the stick travel, and that's how you're gonna set your expo. And then the easiest way to set your maximum rotational rate is just to do flips and rolls. Take it up, you can even do this line of sight. Do a full flip and see where it lands. If it over-rotates, your maximum velocity is too much. If it under-rotates, your maximum velocity is not enough. If you like doing flips and rolls, I never do full flips and rolls, so I don't do that test, but that is a good test to kind of get it dialed in. For me, I mainly do inverted stuff, so I actually do that same test, but with 180 degree of rotation. If it lands perfectly flat, the maximum velocity is correct. If it under-rotates, it's too little. If it over-rotates, it's too much. Rob Timko with a $9.99 super chat. He says, send...
Boat.
It looks like a ramen. I see chopsticks.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a boat.
It says steaming bowl. Nice. Thank you.
Steaming bowl.
Thank you, Mr. Timko. Big and little Timko, how are you guys? They're now flying. They just built a couple of D-Quad LRX, micro LRX frames.
Nice.
Which are pretty cool.
I like that brand.
I wonder why. Can't spill the beans, though. Huh?
It's public.
Oh, is it?
It's public in my profile.
Tell them.
Oh, I'm part owner of D-Quad.
Look at this guy. D-Quad makes some really cool frames, too. They're doing some really fun stuff with, like, routing down into the carbon in order to lock the arms in that I kind of like. You guys are going to get to see that on the mini LRX build that I'm going to do soon. Soon. Ernesto says, thank you for the advice yesterday. I appreciate it. You're certainly welcome, Ernesto. If you have any follow-up questions, just let me know. CiottiFPV everywhere. On the website, there's my Instagram, YouTube, all the shit. Facebook. You guys can message me wherever. Scott FPV says, it's brand new, came in FPV crate. So I work with FPV Crate. I hate to make more work for them, but it's broken. So shoot him a message. JR is not JR. Shoot him a message. They'll get you taken care of.
I love this one. Remy Tim says, I don't need luck. I've got class, SAS, and ass. That's the one. That's mine. Share that one.
Alex Mihai says, do you recommend any flight controller for multi-purpose crafts such as quads, fixed wings, RC cars? Thank you in advance. I don't know anything about fixed wings or RC cars, so I have absolutely no... I didn't even know that was like a thing. I didn't even know that you could use our flight controllers for other stuff. Now that I think about it, I mean, I guess why wouldn't you be able to? You would just use one of the motor outputs rather than all four. So I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do that, but yeah, I have no clue, Alex. I apologize. I just don't know anything about fixed wings or my favorite name for RC cars is ground pounders, so I usually call them that. I'm a ground pounder as well, but you know, not with wheels, seats, and a steering wheel.
Oh,
Brandon's Baked Beans. What? Brandon's Baked Beans says, you'll be happy to hear that I've merged my freestyle and cinematic rates, so now I only use a single rates that do both for me. Going to focus on a single set of rates like you. For anybody that doesn't know the context, Brandon and I were talking a couple weeks ago about rates, and he was saying how he's got one set of cinematic rates and another set of freestyle rates, and I was telling him how like I had that for a little bit, and then I met in the middle, and I kind of combined those, and I've had much better luck with that because it's with just one set of rates. It's just one set of muscle memory that you have to drill into your brain. With two sets of rates, you're literally kind of doubling the amount of work that you have to do, and then you got to give your brain time to adjust every time you go from one of the rigs to the other to that muscle memory. And you can do it. Like, you know, I'm a pretty good example of this, right? I fly micros and 2.5 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 3.5 inch, 5 inch, 5.5 inch. And that forces me to have a separate set of muscle memory for everything that I do. This is one of my favorite excuses as to why I'm such a shit pilot. But yeah, you'll notice that the best pilots in the world don't do that. The best pilots in the world fly one thing over and 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 over again, or they're young. Being young is the cheat code, but most of us are old fucks. There he is.
Let me messing with your stream now.
June Lucas says, are whooping tonight? Nope. Tonight is 4 Monday giveaways, Q&A. We're going to talk about the StanFPV 5-inch Cinewhoop ducts. Look at this fucking ridiculous thing. I put a battery through these today, so we're going to talk about this. And what else is in the stream title? Razorback Rebuild continues tonight.
And Mike's nuts.
And Mike's balls.
No, I'm not.
Booster FPV says, what's up? Rob Timko with a $1.99 super chat. He says, Mike is who gave Tiny the frame at Castle Crash.
Yep.
No shit.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Small world. Thanks for the support, my man. Lord Henrik says, Mike, I heard somewhere Gemfan props were quieter than HQ props. I had a brand new set and all my neighbors were outside. I bolted on my Gemfan props and the sound was so pleasant. Props, homie. It's true. You know, you can kind of, it's a weird sort of metric, but like you can just kind of look at the blade profile on Gemfan props versus HQ props, and you can just kind of see like how much effort has sort of gone into or not gone into making an aerodynamic airfoil. And an aerodynamic airfoil is going to manage the turbulence better, and that's what's going to make less noise, right? Noise is created by moving air meeting with not moving air, and turbulence is an ugly area of moving air meeting non-moving air. So yeah, I've absolutely found that that same thing, for years actually. It's also why Gemfan like if you take props from either manufacturer that are the same size, same pitch, the Gemfan props will make more power and they'll be more efficient. And again, it's down to a more aerodynamic blade profile. So yeah, that's what you're getting to see there.
I don't know. I'm not a propologist, so I don't know.
Luckily, you're good friends with one. Terminal Insanity says, tell Gemfan guy. He has a name, Terminal.
And it's Gemfan Mike.
Tell Gemfan guy, I turned busted 5-inch props into a whoop gate with electric tape, and it works great. It was his idea from a previous stream. Very cool. Very cool, Terminal. Almac FPV says, what's up? Built the new TBS Source 1 V5. Should check it out. Very cool. Almac, please, for the love of God, tell me that they've put 5mm thick arms on it. The previous Source 1s have only had 4mm arms, which is like $19.99 all over again. I don't understand why that frame got made with 4mm arms. It's just a terrible idea. Hopefully, if the only change between the previous Source 1s and the V5 is going from 4mm to 5mm arms, it's actually a huge, I mean, that makes that frame a realistic option in my opinion. So yeah, that would be awesome. B-Man says, just plug in, up, down, down, left, right, B, I select start, and you're golden on your rates. Agreed, B-Man. B-Man knows what's up. FamGFPV, formerly Family Guyver, is in the house. He says, yo, Ciotti and Collective. Don't forget Mike. Tuner Taxi says, what's the best way to hire you to help tune my shit? It's all sorts of messed up on the roll axis. Tuner, just message me. I do everything. You can hire me through Fiverr, through CiottiFPV.com, but they take like 13%, and their messenger sucks. So if you just message me, here's the thing though: if it's only fucked up on the roll axis, the gyro is probably blown up. Unless you've got like your roll PIDs all over the place or something weird like that. But yeah, typically if there's only one axis that the rig is freaking out, that's usually a gyro that has failed. It's one of the ways to troubleshoot a failed gyro is if you've got a bunch of bullshit going on only on one axis, because inside the gyro they've got these little fingers sort of, and the little fingers are oriented for roll. There's other ones oriented for, well, not, I mean, they don't know what roll pitch, but they're oriented in different directions to pick up each, I don't know, dimension of movement, I guess. So yeah, that sounds a lot to me like a bad gyro. Again, unless you've got something wacky going on with your PIDs only on the roll axis. Like if you have the roll axis PIDs cranked way the hell up, that could be a problem, but I don't know why you would ever do that. Put it on defaults. If it's still jacked up on defaults, it's pretty much blown up, as 661 says.
But I would still hire Ciotti. He tuned my quads and
it's true.
Delicious.
It's true. I did my standard kind of pretty simple tune on Mike's rigs, and
it was amazing.
As usual,
it changed a lot. I can crush softer. I can crush in style now. No, I'm kidding. It really feels. I can really tell the difference on motor temperature, on like the stick movement. He really took the time to actually check what I do, what I want, where do I want my quad to go to get, and like how I want it to get there, and he got it right. So, seal of approval.
Ah, there it is from the man himself. What else we got going on? Almac says 6mm. Oh, 6mm arms. I'm not a fan of 6mm arms. Unless they're really skinny. You want, in my opinion at least, you want the arm to be the weakest. You want the arm to break before the motor or the base plate or the sandwich plate, because arms are cheap and they're easy to replace, and they take a hell of a beating anyway. So the more often you replace them, typically the more you can crank up your PIDs and your turn down your filtering. 6mm arms, unless they're really thin, are typically going to be too strong, and what you'll notice is you start breaking a lot more motors. This is one of the things that I actually liked about the 4mm arms on the Source 1, is that they would just kind of break all over the place, and that's what you want, right? A $4 arm versus a $25 motor, and an arm that, you know, takes, 6 bolts to replace versus a motor that needs to be soldered. That's a good trade-off. But those 4mm arms on the Source 1 were not quite strong enough, and they made up for it by making them wider, which is bad from an aerodynamic perspective. 5mm seems to be the sweet spot. I feel like pretty much the entire FPV community has realized that. I don't understand why they would go to 6mm, other than like bigger numbers are better, and you know, but that doesn't make sense for Well, I guess it does make sense for a community-driven frame, and most of the community is probably on Facebook, which is a lot of new folks. Yeah, new folks would certainly think that a bigger number is better. So yeah, strange that they didn't do 5mm. Look at this guy. What are you up to? Oh! Here, hold on. You guys Mike is notorious for this filter. He is already notorious for that filter. There we go. All
right.
Is it going to get you too?
No.
Just me. You can tell to just get the white people, huh?
It's a racist filter.
Oh, Christ. There it is.
It's the best filter in the world.
That is a good filter right there. Bob Noxious says, tell Mike I said I miss him.
I miss you, Bob Noxious.
He whispered that he misses you too. All right, I'm getting behind on chat here. Hold on. Ernesto says V5 has 6mm. B-Man says I was a 5143 dude for the longest, which I know you are. I'm telling you, those 5136 are a great combo. You should try them. I have a whole bunch. I do plan on trying them. I'm actually going towards 4.9-inch propellers because I build my rig so lightweight. The 5.1-inch props, I think, are a little too floaty. Like it's great for the efficiency and all if I'm working, on set. But for freestyle, I'm really digging the 4.9-inch props. It's just with a 605 gram all up builds, the smaller propellers don't float as much. This guy hanging out in the shadows, I could still see him waving, though. I see you. I'm
saying goodbye.
Oh, are you out?
Yeah. No. Goodbye to the stream.
Okay. Booster FPV says, I can't wait to use my Gemfan stick bang props at a monster truck show I'm doing. That's very cool, Booster. I'm gonna give you something here, though. Monster truck show is a good opportunity to get your stuff run over. The stick bang props are made to be lightweight.
Stick bang?
I refuse to say spang, so I say stick bang because I think that's what spang means, right?
Yeah, but why?
Plus, I like to say the word stick and bang because I'm 8. So like, for example, when I used to fly drift events, I would run a much heavier prop, the Gemfan Flash 5144, just because it's a more durable prop and it's more durable in by the hub. So if I do go down, there's less of a chance of a blade being bent so much that I can't take back off and I get run over and lose the GoPro and the quad and all the footage and blah 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 blah. I mean, you probably get the footage, but so keep that in mind. I mean, from a performance perspective, they're going to perform amazing. The other reason you might want a bigger prop in a cinematic setting like that is that you're going to get a little bit more runtime, and so to me, the stick bang props are a hardcore freestyle propeller. They will absolutely work, and they'll work brilliant for cinematic stuff, but in my opinion, there are other propellers that are bigger for more efficiency, more durable for this specific event. Because with cars and all that's going to be going on, there's a really good chance that you can lose orientation, get run into, and go down. And a literally heavier propeller is going to be more durable because that weight is spent on, more plastic, and that just makes them more durable. Not all the time. There are heavier propellers that aren't any more durable, but 99% of the time, a heavier prop is going to be more durable. So keep that in mind. Like I said, those props that you can't wait to use will be great. They'll give you amazing performance, amazing prop wash performance. But here's the thing: flying monster trucks, you're not going to be in prop wash. You're going to be cruising around. You're going to be flat. You're going to be a Cinewhoop. You're going to do a lot of this stuff, and you're just not going to get into prop wash, which is one of the many things that those 4.9s are going to do really well. So keep in mind, bring some extra props. Try them all, see what you like. Tuner Taxi says, do you like the Foxy or Aura frame at all? I haven't even heard of that. FPV cycle frames, in my opinion, are like what you want. They're very inexpensive because the person that runs the company is a dentist for the stars and doesn't really care about making money on FPV, so he pretty much sells everything at cost. It's basically cost plus what it costs him to pay his one employee that ships stuff out and does customer service. So FPV cycle stuff is typically much better quality for the amount of money that you spend, right? Foxeer is a company that needs to make money to pay all their employees, so their frames are going to be priced more like the rest of the FPV market, right? And I mean, to be honest, the FPV Cycle Glide frame does absolutely everything I want it to, doesn't do anything that I don't want it to, and it's just kind of perfect. I don't really have any want to change to any different frame. I've tried so many different frames over the last 5-ish years that I've been flying 5-inch, and just nothing can touch the Glide. From like a holistic standpoint, right? We're not just talking about vibration resistance. We're not just talking about looking cool. We're not just talking about durability. We're talking about everything, right? Living with it, being able to configure it for different usages. Christ,
Not the word.
This is a glide frame. It's the Cineglide, and it's a big stupid 4-inch Cinewhoop thing, right? Like, there aren't many frames, and look, it stands up on its own. Come on, you need that. There aren't many frames that you can adapt into so many different ways. So yeah, I don't know, man. I might be on the Glide frame forever. If Bob discontinues it, I'm gonna just hammer him for the 3D files. I'm sure I won't. I'm sure he'll just send them to me. I won't have to hammer him for him, and I'll just get a bunch of them cut on my own. So. Where are we at in chat here? Bob Noxious. Oh no, we got that. FamG says, "Yo, Mike, you hiding in the shadows, huh?" At Gemfan Hobby. Bob Noxious dropping the Fiverr link. Thank you, brother. So over on Fiverr, I do build planning to help you pick the right parts, tuning to help you to tune your shit, but while I'm tuning your shit, I'm teaching you how to tune it and giving you like a path forward. What I don't want is for you to have to come back to me every single time you need tuning help. I want to put you into a place where you understand it enough and give you a baseline, and then you can tweak it from there moving forward. My favorite tuning clients are the ones that I never talk to again. At least I never have to take their money again. They'll ask me questions every once in a while, but I really like to get done with a tuning session with somebody and send them out on their own into a good place where they can, handle it from then on. That's what I try to do with that. And the third thing I do over on Fiverr is, I forget, it's something, I don't know. Remy Tim says, but as we know, the CiottiFPV tune only works on Gemfan props, so buy Gemfan props and then hire CiottiFPV to help you tune your quad. I'll take my commission now. Here's your commission, Remy Tim. Remy Tim is the FPV mentor. Head over to fpvmentor.com. He is the best way that you can either get your technical chops into a better place in this hobby, or if you're brand new, get into the hobby, or if you have a friend that you actually want to get into the hobby rather than have them piss away a bunch of money and time for a month and then quit like they always do. Remy Tim is going to be a mentor and actually help them to, stay in it, because my God, that first year is pretty rough. What are you up to over there? What are you looking at? Things?
I have a magnifying glass, and I was looking at your penis.
Boom! What's it doing over there on the workbench? Is it that long? It goes all the way up around the desk?
It's detachable.
Jesus. Great Southern says, so when are you getting a cinelifter? When I get a gig that requires it and they're willing to pay for it, basically. Just building a cinelifter for the sake of building a cinelifter doesn't really make much sense. Who's going to give you the $3,000 camera to put on it? I certainly can't afford that. Christ, I can't even afford to build a cinelifter. You're looking at like $1,000 to build one. And I've not gotten a single, I've not been approached for any gigs that A, make sense for a cinelifter, In my opinion, in most cases, FPV footage is perfectly suited for GoPros. I understand the want to have a medium format camera up in the air. I get that. But in most cases, the type of flying that we're doing, the quality of the video is not the deal breaker. Like, the quality of the flying is really the point. So for me, and also from like a safety standpoint and some other stuff, I really prefer GoPro specific rigs. If I had a cinelifter and, you know, if I had $3-4 grand to put into a cinelifter and a medium format camera, and I started posting stories and pictures and shit of it, I would probably get a gig or two, maybe, and you can usually like triple or quadruple your day rate for those gigs, so you can typically kind of pay for the rig and the camera within a couple of gigs. But I don't like the way that they fly. I don't like the liability. I don't like how much money you have up in the air. And I don't like the safety level flying around talent with them. And a lot of the stuff that I do on music video shoots is flying very in close with talent. And that's GoPro work. So the folks that do like much more cinematic stuff, shooting car commercials and you know, mountain stuff, cinelifter makes an awful lot of sense. For me, doing music videos and short films in downtown Atlanta doesn't really make a lot of sense. But we'll see. If I get a gig that's willing to pay for it, and usually the gigs with enough budget to want that kind of footage, usually they can afford it. Exactly. So,
how is this working? Is it okay?
I have not used it yet. That's actually getting sent directly to one of my amazing fans that's going to put it into a little enclosure with a screen, and I'm going to use that for the cycle racing in Salt Lake City next month.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the fucking DJI Smart Controller forces a watermark. You can't turn it off. So it says DJI FPV video feed all the time. And the TV, at the gig that I did, the TV truck was like, "What's that shit? That can't be on there." I'm like, then I'm going home, I guess. Because it's you know, DJI is evil. B-Man says, "I'll take anything to break before the base plate." Yeah, it's true. It's one of the big reasons why I always recommend you guys stay away from solid base plate frames. Because, yeah, having to take your entire rig apart just because you broke an arm is just insane. Yeah, same thing with breaking a base plate. 661 says they are 6 millimeters and more narrow. Very cool. Glad that they're narrow. If they're going to be 6 millimeter, though, for me, they better be more narrow than the glide arms, and I doubt that. So I have a feeling that the Source V5 is going to be just like the Apex in that the arms will very rarely break, and when the arms very rarely break, you break a lot more motors, and for me, somebody that crashes a lot on concrete, that's a deal breaker. So, yeah. But if you don't crash very much, those heavier duty arms are going to perform better. But that's a strange kind of duality of, like, I don't crash very much, so I want a big, heavy, beefy arm. Well, no, if you don't crash very much, you can get away with a lighter weight arm and then run a heavier battery. Or just have a rig that's lighter weight and flies better. So I don't quite understand it. I guess unless you're a black box nerd and you're chasing every single, you know, fraction of a millisecond of latency trying to get your filtering absolutely down to nothing, then the heavier duty arms make sense, but that's not me. 661 says, "Hey Gemfan, is the Vanny prop the same as the F3 prop?"
Nope.
Not even close.
Not even close. The Vanny prop is 5.1536. So even they're different in size. The new Vanover prop is a little bit like 0.5 longer, and the pitch is completely different. The pitch on the Freestyle 3 is 3, and the pitch on the Vanny style is 3.6. So
they're also
quite different.
The F series of props are more lightweight, and with lightweight comes a little bit of fragility. The Vanover props are definitely heavier, right? And I've heard that they're very durable. So two completely different things. Fam G says, Mike from Gemfan Hobby looked so cool on Ken Heron's post of Castle Crash. He was making the girls ovaries quiver on the bike. No. The sound playing right now is no. We can't hear it though.
Okay.
Monitor.
Yeah, it was really cool getting to meet Ken Heron. He was such an amazing dude.
He's an interesting dude for sure.
Yeah, we had so much fun. We had so much fun, and I hope to do some more stuff with him.
He's a cool
Not
cat.
everything FPV related, if you know what I mean.
Tommy News says, what's up guys, I'm late but here. Ram Dako says, what we do in the shadows equals good film, CiottiFPV and all. Booster FPV says, I will be freestyle with the truck that I work for. Okay, very cool, Booster. So yeah, freestyle flying, you're going to love those. Athix says, when you get a 3-inch prop, can you make sure you get it with 2mm shaft too? Well, so...
It depends on the need of the
brilliance of Gemfan's M5 and T-mount center setup is that you just need to change the insert. There's a 1.5mm insert. There's a 2mm insert. You can tell the difference because the colors. The 1.5mm.
I brought this
center.
I brought this
clear?
myself for him.
You did, and then the 2mm centers are black. I'm sure the next question is going to be where to get these black 2mm inserts. I asked this guy and he brought me a bunch, but
They can get them on Pyro, Race Day Quads, Get FPV, AliExpress, Banggood, or if I go back to China one day and you ask me for them, I'll probably bring you some.
From the horse's mouth itself. Jesus, I almost blew water all over the place.
Really?
Booster says, shit, I need that CiottiFPV, bro. You need what? That was 10 minutes ago. What were we talking about 10 minutes ago? I forget. Booster, what do you need? Bob Knox is dropping the Fiverr link. Thank you, brother. Remy Tim dropping the FPVmentor.com link to his website. You should check him out for sure. Scrolling down, Steadfast RC says, I have a Beta FPV VTX that gets worse range on 800 milliwatts than it does on 200 or 100. Is this just because it's Beta FPV? Steadfast already knows the answer. Yeah, pretty much. Beta FPV, Beta FPV has a pretty terrible reputation in terms of quality control. In fairness, they sell a lot of stuff, and when you sell a lot of stuff, you're going to have more failures. So, in fairness, that is a part of the reason why it feels like their QC is so horrible. I don't think it's as horrible as we think it is, but it's not great either. All that being said, their VTXs are always awful. Like, I've had so many Beta FPV rigs, and in every single case, the VTX was like just bad. So doesn't surprise me at all that you're having that problem. Get that VTX out of there. Put a proper VTX in. Even like the eSheen VTXs are gonna blow the Beta FPV VTXs out of the water, and they're very inexpensive. eSheen actually makes shockingly good video components. So I run eSheen Nano $13 VTXs in damn near all my micros, and they're phenomenal. Super durable, great range. Yeah, they're awesome. So get that Beta FPV VTX out of there and replace it with anything, and you'll have a much better experience. Abraham says, sorry I'm late, what's up? Terminal Insanity says, does that DJI watermark show up on DigiView? Yes, it does show up on DigiView. The Axis box is the only way to not have a watermark on your DJI outputted footage. So Joshua Bardwell was kind enough to send this to me, and Abraham actually that just got here is cool enough to take on this little project of putting this in a box with a little monitor. Super, super, super cool of them. Alex Mihai says, do you recommend the Gemfan props on the DJI FPV better over the stock ones?
It depends. I think that depends on where or how comfortable do you feel with the DJI FPV. Keep in mind that drone is mainly designed to give you a glimpse of what FPV is, but keep you also very preserve battery consumption, so that they have a very low pitch for that same reason. I would say if you feel confident with the drone enough that you want to start pushing it more because it's a heavy freaking drone, go with the 5.236, 5.226 props, even the 5.5 props that we just released a few months ago, because they're gonna hold the weight better. But that's if you want to try freestyling with that more. If you want to cruise around, the more efficient ones will be the stock ones.
There you guys go. Speaking of so I don't know I'm glad that you had an answer, because I don't know a single thing about the DJI FPV drone. What I do know is that the American Crit cycling racing folks that brought me onto that gig in Alabama, and they're bringing me on the end of next month to Salt Lake City. They just recently had an event in Tulsa, I want to say, this last weekend, and they hired some local pilot that had the DJI FPV drone to get them some FPV footage, and it was so bad. Like, everybody, the riders were complaining about it. Everybody in the TV truck hated it. It was wobbling all over the goddamn place. It was so bad, and so there's actually a chance that they're gonna bring me back. Now that they got to see how bad it is, and I don't know what pilot they got. I hope it's not an actual FPV pilot. I hope it's a photography drone pilot that they got, because they were pretty shitty. But yeah, it was bad, man. It was embarrassing bad. And that shit bothers me, because that gives FPV a really bad name. Luckily, the guys in the TV truck got to see what a half decent pilot with half decent gear could do at the Alabama event, so they know that FPV is not what they saw this last weekend. But
that's the best kind of customer, because now they're gonna value what you do more.
Yeah,
and you can charge those motherfuckers twice.
So that was wild. I thought that the DJI FPV drone flew better than that, but with just a little bit of wind and a pilot that wasn't all that great, I guess, it was real bad.
And it's too heavy, so the wind, any wind is gonna start moving it more and more, and the props are now helping.
Right.
But the main, the base issue is that the freaking quad is too heavy and too beefy. Our quads, the wind almost goes through the whole thing.
Right. And I also mentioned to them, I was and I'm pretty sure that it was not. One of the ways that I know that it wasn't a decent pilot is that they were flying a much heavier than 250 gram drone above people, above crowd, above audience, no prop guards. So I actually mentioned to the event owners, I'm like, hey, for the future, be careful with that. The FAA is going to fine the pilot, and they're going to fine you guys. They are now fining the event organizers, producers, directors, whoever they can, for flying rigs that are north of sub 250 over people. And he was very appreciative of me letting him know that. So I have a feeling it was not a Part 107 pilot that was flying that. I don't know. I my assumption is that they just found a local guy for a couple $100, and they were just like, hey, come up in the air and try not to kill anyone. And luckily they didn't kill anyone. But that's creepy. I would absolutely not want a DJI FPV drone flying above people. That's scary. Those things are fat bastards.
Also, the camera quality is...
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. It looked awful. It looked absolutely awful. Good question, Alex. Thank God Mike was here to help me with that one. Tuner Taxi says, I drill a 2mm hole in my arms to give them a break point. By the way, the Froxier Aura frame is basically an Apex frame. Okay. So if it's basically an Apex frame, it's going to be pretty good, but not as good as a Glide, in my opinion. So And drilling a hole in the arm to give them the break point, that's interesting. I would rather just run a frame with arms that are sized properly and you know, tapered properly to do that. But if you can't afford a $50 glide frame, then yeah, that's a super interesting idea, actually. B-Man says those Vinny props are... That's who was telling me. I knew it was somebody in here. B-Man has been singing the praises of the Vanover props. B-Man says those Vinny props are real durable. I fly through trees, chopping up branches, and keep going. I have a bunch of them, and I'm really looking forward to flying them. I just don't fly freestyle all that often. But maybe Mike and I are going to go out tomorrow. We'll see. Bob Noxious says, doesn't FPV Cycle have some 2mm shaft motors? They do. They're 1303s, and they have another one. They have 2 motors that have 2mm motor shafts.
Okay, I gotta go. I need to fix my quad for tomorrow if we want to rip.
Cool.
So guys,
Be good.
thank you very much, everybody. Have fun and give Ciotti some cheese for the beers. Super chats. Let's go.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you, brother.
Cool. Coy Locker says, what's up? Hey, this is a giveaway stream, by the way. We're gonna, once I get caught up on chat, probably in 10-ish minutes, we're gonna launch into giveaways. Booster says, the 5-inch frame you were showing. Oh, so this is just an FPV Cycle Glide. This is stupid. So yeah, let's dig into this. So this is a Cineglide frame. The Cineglide frame has this big dick nose on it here to put the FPV cam really far forward, and the GoPro does mount far forward. This doesn't make any sense. The Cineglide frame, in my opinion, the only reason for the Cineglide frame is to have your FPV cam not have propellers in view. I built this. This was sent to me by somebody in chat. I'm horrified that I forget who it is. But this was sent to me when I was talking about that American Crit Racing series and saying that I needed to find a 5-inch frame with no props in view of the FPV cam. That's kind of it. Like, I guess the other use of this frame would be if you can't put a big enough battery on the Glide, the regular Glide frame. This has a bigger top plate for an even bigger battery. So basically long range. So if you fly long range, or if for some strange reason you can't have props in view of your FPV cam, that's really the only reason for the Cineglide, in my opinion. Putting these StanFPV prop guards on this thing, I only really did that because this frame did not have. I was just being lazy. I wanted to put it on the regular Dead Cat Glide, which is actually down here. So I wanted to put them on this. They make much more sense on this regular Glide frame, just with the front Dead Cat arms. But I've got landing foam on the arm pads, and that's exactly where these guards would need to go. And I'm not going to use these things, so I didn't really find it necessary to rip all the foam off, put these on, fly it for one battery, and then go, oh, it sucks, and then take it back off. But if at some point I do use these guys, they will be going on this regular old Glide with the Dead Cat front arms. Mainly because, as I found out with this setup, once you have this all built... show you the problem. Once you have this all built and the ducts are on it, and the ducts are a big fucking pain in the ass to put on because you got to do 4 motor screws for each of them. Ready for this? Nope. You can't get the GoPro in there. So you have to take the GoPro mount off, put the GoPro mount in it, and then screw the GoPro mount back on, which is just stupid. But on this particular frame, I don't have any foam on the landing pad, so I just threw it on here as a little bit of a meme. Although, and just to see how they are. Although what's interesting is I've got these 6-bladed 4-inch props on here, which is a lot of propeller surface. This is and this is a rig that's got 2507 motors on it. So this is a hell of a lot of propeller. These 2507 motors were actually really good on these props. This, I couldn't get the GoPro into the damn thing, so I flew it without the 120 gram GoPro. It flew pretty decent. Like, if you need something that has prop guards and you need to go faster than a 3-inch Cinewhoop, that's what these are for. And I've said that 1,000 times by now, because but I was saying it out of just the theory behind it. It's nice that the theory turned out to be true. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess the use on set would be if you need to chase a car that's going to go north of 30 miles an hour. So like a 3-inch Cinewhoop, like any of my Cinesplorers, they are absolutely perfect from 0 miles an hour to like 30 to 35, maybe 40, if you can really put the nose down and your director of photography is okay with footage that's looking down on the car. Beyond 40 miles an hour, though, they don't have a hope in hell. So if you need to go 30 miles an hour to, I would say, maybe 50, because it still doesn't go that fast. It's still as aerodynamic as a brick shithouse. Yeah, if those are the speeds that you need, I guess that's when these make sense. They're extremely heavy. These add almost 200 grams to the weight of your rig. And with these multi-bladed props, it's not all that loud. So it's yeah, I mean, it's way louder than a 3-inch Cinewhoop. It's way more unruly to fly because it's so much heavier. But when you put the nose down, this does cruise at a much more significant speed. What you can't do with this, in my opinion, is fly this around talent. It's horrifying. And it's just not accurate enough. So it doesn't really work around talent. It also doesn't really work when there's a chance of you bumping into stuff because of the just ridiculous way that how ridiculously thin the molded plastic is on the part where the screws go through. So I was very, very, very careful today to not bump into anything because I'm pretty sure that these are just going to explode where the screws go through the base, because it's like I think it's only 1 millimeter thick. You know, like everything else about these is hideously beefy. Like the whole thing is incredibly beefy, except for the one spot that's going to take the most abuse. I can't wrap my head around it. On yesterday's live stream, I struggled, but I think I was able to show you guys how thin that is in the bench cam, so you can check it out, or just take my word for it. Yeah, these will not. I cannot possibly imagine a world where these will take any amount of abuse. And so at that point, they're guards that are just like for, I don't know. Like if you want to look like, if you want your rig to look like it's safe, but I don't want it to just look like it's safe. I want it to actually be, like if it's going to look like it's safe, I want it to be safe. I don't want it to break the guard every time you bump into something and then the prop rams into whatever you didn't want the prop to ram into, thus the whole reason that you put the guard on. So I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the 1 millimeter of molded plastic under the base is magically enough, but I can't imagine a world where that's true. Just kind of looking at it and being sort of engineering minded and having broken thousands and thousands of things over the last 6 years. But it certainly looks meme-erific. Am I wrong? That'll get people to click on your goddamn video. And yeah, if I needed to chase a car with low up tilt down low at 40 miles an hour, this would be it. And if the the driver of the car did not want to risk a prop strike, usually it's pretty easy to convince the drivers of the car that your propellers are plastic, and if you hit their car, it's going to leave a little bit of plastic, and you're going to go like this with your finger, and it's going to rub off. But like the little baby gig that I worked on a couple of months ago, the Rolls Royces there were absolute minimum 500 grand each. Some of them were multi-million-dollar cars. So in that case, yeah, if I needed to chase those guys at 40 miles an hour, fucking A right, I'd be putting these things on. But typically you just say to them, like, hey, I need you to stay 30 miles an hour or below, and they go, okay. And that's that. And then you can fly your Cinewhoop that's way safer, flies better. So, yeah, I don't know. This is the same problem with the Terraplane, right? It only makes sense in this very, very, very narrow, little, specific, tiny use case. And if if you're chasing mountain bikers that go exactly 40 miles an hour, for example, awesome, perfect. But very, very limited use, unless you're in it for the memes and you just want to waste some money, spend some money. Then they're funny looking. But I don't know. I'll say this, without the GoPro in it, I was pretty shocked at how well this flew. I didn't change PIDs. I didn't change a goddamn thing. And it flew around totally fine. It flew like a gigantic, heavy, fat Cinewhoop, but it wasn't like oscillating all over the place. It didn't, have bounce back. It didn't have any of the things that I thought that it was going to have. But it just doesn't make much sense. It's just such a specific, narrow kind of tool. But I did it for you guys. I put them on there for you guys. And after the stream tonight, if I can't sleep again, I will be taking them off because they just don't make any sense. But I will keep them in the duct box over there for if somebody approaches me with a gig where the people are going 40 miles an hour, because I think that's the one specific use where it makes some semblance of sense. But yeah, can't fly it around talent, man. That it's like a goddamn death machine. And flying Cinewhoops around talent gets a little hairy as it is. Like they're afraid of it, and they should be. Like, they're loud and they got spinning death finger choppers and it's always a little bit of a struggle to not always. It's often a little bit of a struggle to get a good performance out of talent when there's a Cinewhoop around. So you end up having to do multiple takes. You end up having to I try to have a little safety meeting with everybody. I don't always have the time to do that because FPV has a tendency to be kind of B-roll, so it gets like pushed till the last minute. And then they just want to get in and out. Later, brother. But yeah, I've had situations where I've had to multiple times kind of come up to the town and be like, hey, I swear to God, I'm not going to hit you. If I do hit you, you're totally protected. The only possible way that you could ever get hurt is if you reach your fingers into the actual ducts in the blades. So do me a favor and just don't do that. Don't reach out for it and try to grab it, and you'll be right. So yeah, having something that's now 800, 900 grams, fucking forget it. You're not going to get shit for a performance out of them because they're going to be scared shitless the whole time. Unless they're, badass hip-hop dudes. Although I've had plenty of badass hip-hop dudes that are scared shitless of Cinewhoops. I even had one tell me that I can't fly because he didn't want me up in the air. I still got paid, so on one hand it was like whatever, but I wanted to fly in the Roxy, yo. That was a gig that I would have been able to fly inside of the Roxy, which is a pretty famous venue here in Atlanta. So that was a shame. But such is life. Great Southern FPV and RC says, with the Gemfan 5125R T-mount props, and in the first tap, if a branch not even a crash, it broke the hub, was very upset as they were the only set left in Australia. Yeah, I mean, really low pitch, really lightweight propellers, that's kind of the name of the game. They're, you know, you got to put them on a very lightweight rig, and then you got to not crank them hard, because they're not meant for crashing. You know, they're meant for like long range. They're meant for super lightweight toothpick-ish rigs. So yeah, I can't say that I'm super surprised that you had that happen, because yeah, I mean, with an ultra lightweight propeller, there is a serious sacrifice in durability. It's just the name of the game. There's no other way to remove weight without having that sacrifice there. So that blows that happened to you. But I can't say that I'm surprised, if I'm completely honest. Jory FPV swears by Eachine Nanos. The only one that ever broke was my fault. Got a quad stuck and left it to cook at 400 milliwatts. Yeah, it's wild, man. I've had Christ, my first set of goggles was a set of Eachine VR007 Pros, and they were phenomenal. They were like $60 goggles. They lasted me like 2 years. I beat the shit out of them. I would fly with people that would be on Fat Sharks with like True D diversity modules, and like I'd be behind a building and they'd be like, oh, how are you back there? I got nothing going towards that. I'm like, I don't know, man. Magic Eachine magic. It's wild. They just do a great job with their VTXs. What's really funny is like TBS historically has bitched and moaned about Eachine just ripping off their designs. In my experience, the Eachine versions of the TBS things, which are not exact rip-offs, like sure, they're roughly the same size, but like you look at the chips and they're all in different places and whatnot. What's really insane is time after time, this has happened like 4, maybe 5 times, the Eachine rip-off, not really a rip-off, of the TBS product outperforms it and is way more durable than it. So, you know, take that as you may, but I've had much better luck with Eachine video components at roughly a third the price of TBS video components. And I've talked to so many people who have had that same experience. It's kind of insane. So whatever the hell Eachine's doing, hopefully they keep doing it, because their video components are just awesome and they're hysterically cheap. Abraham says, maybe I'm the oddball, but I've had surprisingly good luck with Beta FPV. Been using them for years, and some stuff has failed, but yeah, not more than GEP-RC or HGLRC or whatever. Yeah, I am willing to bet you that if you actually were able to get a hold of sales versus return data on Beta FPV and you compared them to HGLRC for sure, I can almost guarantee you that Beta FPV stuff fails less often than HGLRC. GEP-RC, I've not heard a whole lot about, but I wouldn't be surprised if Beta FPV stuff is at the same failure rate as GEP-RC or iFlight or Goku or any of these other, you know, like not top tier manufacturers. But again, Beta FPV sells a ton of shit, so that's a ton of people, a ton of opportunities for their stuff to explode and people to yell and scream online about it. And as we know, everybody bitches and moans when shit blows up, but not many people sing the praises of stuff that actually works. So yeah, there's a drastic difference there. 661 says, what I meant is the Veni prop similar to the F4 prop, not F3. They're both labeled 5136 on Pyrodrone. What I think Mike was saying is that the Veni prop is 5.15 inches. versus the F4 and the F3, which are 5.1 inches. But the biggest difference between the F4 and the Vanover prop is going to be durability, hands down. Pitch, size, efficiency, that's all going to be very similar. Although, what I will say is the F4 is going to handle prop wash better because it's lighter weight. I mean, it's typical kind of like lighter weight. Those two propellers are, in my opinion, pretty typical lightweight versus heavyweight kind of, differences. Durability versus performance. I mean, that's pretty much it. Durability versus performance. Where are we at here? Aircon says the DJI FPV is a disaster. Let me see if I can find really quickly the some of the footage from this fucking thing. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad. I was like, yo. I messaged my one main contact from the Crit series, and I was like, Brad, let me guess, that was a DJI FPV drone, wasn't it? Because I actually had a couple cyclists message me like, yo, did you see how awful the FPV footage was from this weekend's event? I was like, no, oh God, and I couldn't find it. I was like, wow, these guys are like, it was wild to get messages from just the cyclists, like just the actual cyclists themselves, like, yo, we knew you were good, but like after seeing this, it's just like, wow, okay, we get it now. Let me see. Oh, he might have pulled it down. It was so bad. Either it was up yesterday and it's gone today because it was an Instagram story, or he took it down. But yeah, it was real bad, man. The pilot didn't know what the hell they were doing, and the rig was all fucking over the place, and it was just horrendous. I'm surprised that they ever cut to that camera, to be honest with you, but I'm willing to bet that there was a section of the racetrack that they did not have good static cam footage of, so they probably had to cut to the footage. But yeah, man, like apparently the people watching the live stream were pissed and like freaking out at the lack of quality, because I guess they got used to the quality from the Alabama event. And then yeah, the riders were pissed, the TV truck, really wild stuff. Feels good. I mean, like I hate to bash on anybody, but like, feels good in a way. It's nice to feel valued, right? And it's nice when you specialize in something and then you charge the appropriate amount of money for being a specialist. There's an awful lot of satisfaction when someone, and this is not the specific case with them, like the TV truck, I'm sure that they knew that they were not going to get really good footage out of this cheap local person that they hired, right? But it always feels good when you charge more money because you're a specialist, and then someone gets someone pays less money and gets someone that either doesn't know what the hell they're doing or has shitty gear or whatever. That kind of feels good. That you get that, like, well, yep, a little bit of like, I told you so, not in this case, but a lot of like, that's why I've put the time in and that's why I charge so much, right? Because as a freelancer, one of the more common things that you get is like, why the hell are you so expensive? Or what are you, crazy? And it's just like, it's my job to explain why I'm worth that, right? Like that's on me. That's why, like, as a freelancer, you have to be a part salesperson, part project manager, part billing, part all these things, right? So that's you got to put your salesperson hat on there. But a lot of people are very resistant to that, right? Like, people don't want to be sold anything. So yeah, when that happens, it's like, hey, when you want good quality on your next one, let me know. Lord Henrik says, to smooth out the spike from throttle mid, what do you suggest? My mid is 0.34/50 expo. to smooth out the spike from throttle mid. What? The spike from throttle mid. I'm not totally sure what that happens, what that means rather. But if you're getting a spike in between the center of the throttle to the expo area, the middle of the stick travel, then you need to either raise your center throttle or lower your expo. And then if you're getting a spike between your middle throttle and the end of the stick travel, middle of your stick travel to the end of your stick travel, you need to raise your expo or lower your max rotational rate. And you can see it in the little scale. When you move those numbers, there's a little, it draws your rates for you. So you can see that scale, and you can kind of dial that all in. StanFPV says, just take it a step up and make it a pusher rig for gigs. It's an interesting idea. I guess you could. That would allow me to get the GoPro into the goddamn thing. It looks like the motor shaft would hit the ground before the duct though, so that would kind of suck. And the other big problem I have with pusher rigs is they put the blades down really low to the ground, and that makes it really tough to take off. So like if a lot of times what I'll do when I'm flying on gigs is I'll like so I was doing this. I did a music video Saturday night from 12 a.m. until 6 a.m. And I was chasing a R35 GTR a bunch, and he would go down a strip, and then he would take 30 seconds to turn around and come back. So I would chase him down, and then to save battery, I would just go up on the curb, on the sidewalk, and I would just land, and I would just keep him in the side of my vision, wait for him to turn around, and he would come back. With a pusher rig, if I tried to do that and landed somewhere with like anything sticking up into the propeller, there'd have been a good chance I wouldn't have been able to take off again, and then I have to run and go get it. So yeah, from like there's, I don't know. I'm not into the pusher rig thing. I've built them before. I don't think they fly right. Aerodynamically, they seem very strange. Apparently the QAVS Freibot does have a little bit more efficiency set up as a pusher rather than a puller. I trust Ryan Harrell, who designed that frame and did some of that testing. Nope, he did not do that testing. Freibot did that testing, and I don't know. He is one of the OG pilots, but we never really see much from him, and I don't know. I've never gotten the feeling that he's all that engineering minded. So I don't know. I could very well be wrong, but I tend to not just trust one person, and I've yet to hear from anyone. And the physics really doesn't support pusher being more efficient than puller. So yeah, at some point I do plan on. With that QAVS frame, it is very easy to flip it upside down, so I do plan on testing that at some point to see if there is a significant difference in efficiency between pusher and puller. Dummy's Garage says, I'm disabled and new to the hobby. I ordered a glide frame and was wondering if there's any budget stacks that are worth getting that won't break the bank. Here's the problem about budget electronics, Dummy's Garage. It's going to fail much earlier than slightly more expensive electronics. I played this game for many, 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 many years and wasted thousands of dollars on budget, mainly ESCs, but flight controllers as well. If you spend another $10 or $15 or $20 on T-Motor or Acon, it's going to last usually 2 or 3 or in my case, 10 to 20 times as long, and I'm not even kidding you. Most ESCs, the way that I fly and crash, will last a little less than a month. I have 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 Acon ESCs that have been going for over 2 years. I finally killed one a couple weeks ago. And, those ESCs cost me like $15 more, I think, than In some cases, 30 or 40 bucks more. But who cares? If they were $100 more, it would still be well worth it from a monetary standpoint, but also from a your time standpoint. Switching out an ESC is a fucking pain in the ass, man. There's a bunch of soldering. You got to dig all up in there. Like, your time is worth way, way, way more than that. So in my opinion, wait the extra. Think of it this way: if you have to wait an extra month to be able to afford the more expensive electronics, it's going to save you that month and then some over the long run, because it's not just going to blow up over and over and over again. And yeah, along the way, it's going to save you a lot of time and frustration and whatnot. I've seen so many people quit the hobby because, you know, they're trying to build budget rigs and they keep catching on fire and they keep falling out of the sky. And then eventually they're like, fuck this, I can't afford this, or I don't have the time for this, I give up. And that was me. I've quit this hobby like 3 or 4 times. I've gone to bed like, nope, I'm done. I can't afford this. I can't handle this. This is bullshit. Luckily, I had friends that would be like, no, dude, you can't quit. You cannot strand me in this fucking hobby. We are in this together forever. And yeah, I stubbornly kept going, and I'm glad that I did. Athix says, giggles like gigs, giggles, not gigs like jobs. Did I say giggles at some point instead of gigs? Wouldn't surprise me. Cheesehead FPV says, what do you think about the Taycan? It's way too heavy. The Taycan only really makes sense for if you're doing like Cinewhoop racing, which is pretty rare, or if for some reason you want a Cinewhoop that you can slam. I don't understand that, because like they fly horrible. So I don't know what. I would not want to watch freestyle Cinewhoop footage. But yeah, if you're looking to do one of those two things, freestyle Cinewhoop footage, where you're going to be crashing a lot, or if you're going to be if you have a local Cinewhoop race series or something, that's the only situation where the Taycan makes any sense to me. It doesn't fly good because it's so heavy. It's a bitch to work on. It's a solid bottom plate, so if you break the bottom plate, you're ripping the whole thing apart, so it's a total nightmare from a serviceability standpoint. The FPV Cycle Cinesplorer is as good as it gets, in my and many others' opinions in terms of Cinewhoops. If you already have the Taycan, I'm sorry I'm trashing on it, but I'm here to be honest, not to be nice and make you feel good about something that you spent a bunch of money on. FPV Exchange is a wonderful website for trading or selling your FPV stuff. We've all bought horrible rigs before. Some of us have bought many more horrible rigs than others, so you're in good company. We've all done it. The sooner that you can find the right proper flying rigs, the better, and so that's why I tend to be pretty hard on stuff that just doesn't perform as well as it should. But I do also really try hard to find scenarios that gear that I personally wouldn't fly will work well in. So yeah, there you go. That's me trying to be as fair or nice as possible. Because maybe you've got a local chapter of 3-inch Cinewhoop racers, and then the Taycan is going to be awesome for that. That ain't me. But I don't want to come on here and just everything sucks other than exactly what I run. That's just silly. John Goblin says, have you ever given thought to the Runcam Split HD, the Vista add-on, except you don't have to run it on a Vista, 20x20 mounting, 2.7K gyroflow footage? Runcam Split HD. So from what I remember, the Runcam Split HD has horrible latency. I think it was Joshua that did a review on it, and from what I remember, he said it was almost unflyable from how bad the latency was. And that was it for me. I never looked at it beyond that, because that's a total deal breaker. I guess what you could do is the old Acrobrat trick like we used to do way back when we were prototyping that thing with Tommy, which is to run a separate FPV analog cam, and then you run the Runcam Split HD as a second camera. Although I don't think that makes much sense because the footage coming out of that is going to be nowhere near as good as the Runcam Hybrid footage, and the Runcam Hybrid has 4K built in as well as a second lens for a brilliant FPV cam. So yeah, the Runcam Split HD, I can't find a single use for it that really makes any sense. I think you would just want to run a regular Vista and just pull the footage off the goggles. It's going to be almost as good, and you're going to have a flying experience that's not impossible because of video latency. But I have not personally flown it, so maybe Joshua was wrong. I doubt it, but maybe he was wrong. You never know. We are all, none of us are infallible. But when it comes to video latency, it's either there or it isn't. So I doubt that he was wrong. But Dingles says, can you speak to the flight characteristics of a 5-inch with a squished-X geometry compared to a true X? My glide feels more uncontrollable compared to my Source 1 V3 with identical components. So the main difference between squished-X and true X is just mechanical torque on the pitch axis. The pitch axis is where we put the majority of our weight, right? The school bus style frames are oriented with a shitload more weight on the pitch axis than the roll axis. So true X makes an awful lot more sense. To be honest, stretched X makes the most sense to having a rig that's like I don't have a better way of saying this, but equal between those two axes. Nowadays, with how good the flight firmware is and how powerful our motors are, there's not a whole hell of a lot of a difference. You can just crank the shit out of your pitch PIDs, and with a squished-X frame, you can pretty much get the same performance. Where that falls down is like at the extremes. If you're at the limit of your motors, then a true X frame is going to give you better performance. And I mean, to go a step further, true X frames are always going to perform better than squished X frames. It's just physics. You've got more weight on the pitch axis. They have more mechanical torque on the pitch axis. The end. There's really no way to argue that a squished X frame will perform better than a true X frame. Your comment on the glide feeling more uncontrollable is super interesting. I mean, the only difference is on the pitch. In terms of the geometry of the frame, the only difference is on the pitch axis. And basically, the difference is going to be that the glide frame is going to have more headroom on the pitch axis. So you won't have to crank the PIDs up as high. That'll keep the motor heat down. It's all good things, only good things. The controllability of the rig, I can't imagine that would have anything to do with the pitch axis. Unless maybe what you're feeling is that the glide has more authority on the pitch axis, so maybe you're not used to so much. You're not used to like less latency and more control on the pitch axis. So like you're jamming the stick forward or backwards, and you're expecting a delay, and there is no delay because the geometry is better suited for that. That's the only possible thing that I could think of that would make the glide feel more uncontrollable than a Source 1 frame. Although I bet you the glide build is lighter weight, and a lighter weight frame is going to be kind of moving around more. It is going to be more lively. It is going to be quicker. It is going to be all things, like better performance-wise. Also, the glide arms are much skinnier, so they're much better aerodynamically than the Source 1. So that's going to give you literally more thrust. So that could also be a part of it. You've got one rig that's making more thrust with more efficiency. So yeah, those are the only things that I can think of. If I think of anything else, though, I'll let you know for sure. Jesus Christ, it's 11:30. So I'm just gonna have to skip chat comments because we need to get the giveaways going. But let me at least try to do super quick answers to them. Kinetic FPV says, actual rates because of you. Glad I did feel so much more neutral in center. Thank you. You're certainly welcome. Cheesehead says, I have half pusher, half puller. I brought to Quad Camp and got it tuned, but he couldn't believe how well it flew. Front is pull, back is push. That's wild. Coil locker, that, my opinion on that would be that's more down to the rear propellers have to work harder. So I think what you've done is you've put the rear propellers in more clean air, and that makes it fly a little bit better. Coil Locker says, I've beat the living crap out of Taycan ESCs and they just keep going. Hobbywing 60 amp is handling the abuse too. I've only blown up one Hobbywing 60 amp. I've blown up 4 other Hobbywing ESCs. But I've heard from many more people that they've blown up the Hobbywing 60 amps than Taycan ESCs. So I still think that Taycan ESCs are a lot more durable. Yeah. Lord Henrik says, buy once, cry once, the great electronics motto. FamGFPV says, I caught my car on fire with a light pole, almost gave up. So glad I kept going. That's scary. CMYK says, what's up? Cheesehead FPV with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, thanks for the advice. Taycan does fly like poop. Yeah, it's just too heavy. With Cinewhoops, the whole point is that you want to shoot small gaps repeatably. And the heavier they are, the more impossible that's going to be. So it just, with a Cinewhoop, one of the best ways to improve the performance is to bring the weight down. It's a bad flying rig. Like, Cinewhoops are crippled by the fact that you're trying to protect the propellers from prop strikes. So you got to look at every other possible way to get them to fly half decent, because they're just, as a platform, they're bad. The aerodynamics are terrible. So it's rough. Technique FPV says, is GoPro Hypersmooth how pilots make very flowy-looking videos? Technique, check out my edits. There is not a single edit that I have. There might be a cinematic edit with Real Steady Go. No, I don't have any cinematic edits up. Yeah, so every single edit here on the channel is without Hypersmooth. So I've spent a lot of time learning to fly very flowy. Hypersmooth is how some pilots cover up their rigs being beat to hell, or their inability to, or their unwillingness to learn how to tune. But in some cases, sure, yeah, it's pilots that don't fly as smooth as they want their footage to look, and then they use image stabilization to make the footage look that they want it, the way that they want it to. Nothing wrong with that. Lots of people think that that's cheating. It's not. It's using the tools at your disposal. I personally hate the way that Hypersmooth looks. It smooths everything out, so you can't have any sharp movements. And I absolutely love the way that you can play with sharp movements and then really smooth movements. That gives a lot of drama to your footage, and that is actually something that I'm hearing more and more often from folks that hire me, is that they really like the way that my flight footage kind of looks, and my ability to kind of give them that drama. So yeah. Abraham says, have you used Real Steady Go 2 yet? I have. It's okay. I'm very used to the original Real Steady Go. So like the buttons being in different positions and called different things is fucking annoying. But it seems like it's faster, which is great. But yeah, I need more time on it to get used to it. I'm sure it's better. But I'm perfectly happy with old school Real Steady Go. Giveaway time, friends. Okay, so you've had the entire stream to join my Patreon. If you join my Patreon right now to try to get in on the Patreon giveaways, you're probably not going to get in there. But if you join the $5, $10, $20, or up dollar tiers right now, and you tag me in the chat and say, yo, I just joined on such and such a tier, I might be able to sneak you in there. The fourth giveaway, though, is a super chat based giveaway that you do not have to be a patron to enter. So you know, even if you're not on there, you still have the opportunity to get in on some gambling tonight. Abraham says, I like turning the stabilization all the way down, crop speed all the way slow, preserves some of the snappy effects, but cuts out some of the really fine wobbles. Way to go for sure. I actually don't know anybody that doesn't do that, Abra. I think the whole FPV community turns the stabilization all the way down because it still stabilizes a lot when it's turned all the way down. I turn the speed one notch up, actually, from the middle. I don't like the way that it looks with the speed all the way down. With the speed all the way down, basically, it starts zooming too early, in my opinion. So it feels like it's always kind of zooming in and out when I have the speed all the way down. So I leave it right towards the middle, or sometimes I'll move it up a little bit. All right, cool. So let's knock out the Patreon-specific giveaways first. I need to click some buttons here. And, all right, so the first thing I need to do is cripple the live stream. So it's going to get a little bit jumpy. Just give me a minute. I got to refresh 7 tabs. So just bear with me here. Oh, balls. So I just left a note for myself about John Tabley, I think it is. I'm not even sure if that's his name. But I do have John Tabley. I think that's the name. I have him on here twice. He did a super chat after we'd already spun the wheel last time. Okay. This is all good to go. All right, cool. So let me get a couple of these. Let me get the wheels set up here first. And this will not take very long. Or it will. Try to answer a couple questions while I'm doing this. Demo FPV sent $10 through PayPal. Demo, I'm going to need you to remind me of that once we get to the 4th giveaway. Restyle joined yesterday. Did I make the cut? Absolutely. If you joined anything more than like 10 minutes ago, you'll absolutely be on here. So here is a Cinewhoop tier. I'm putting that on the first wheel. Here is the second tier, downloading the CSV. Abraham rightly says using a nail gun instead of a hammer isn't cheating. Yep. It's a fun way of looking at it. I like that. And all right, so here is the micro brushless and Cinewhoop tier. Grabbing everybody from there, putting them on the Pokey FPV raffle. And here's the 5-inch tier. Opening that up. And these folks are going on the next one. And then here are the super ultra mega supporters who get put. So if you join the $30 a month or up tiers, you get put into all 3 of these giveaways. And here are those folks. And in they go. All right, cool. So the wheels are good to go. Let me click submit and submit and submit. And let's change the speed to 6. And we'll leave the player 1 frame here. I'm not on the wrong scene. I just don't want you guys to see every single person that supports me and what their tiers are at. 6, and we're gonna go to the source 1 frame on this one. All right, cool. Giveaways are all set up. First up, hold on. First up is the Cinewhoop and Toothpick $5 a month tier. We've got Newbie Drone Smooth Lube. This is bearing oil, bearing oil, which you can also use in the tiny little motors that have the metal bushings. Arguably, you really want to use this on micro motors. or not micro motors, Cinewhoop motors, because they don't have bearings in them. They just have metal bushings. So this should really help with them. This is a new product by Newbie Drones. Pretty cool. Nobody else is making FPV motor specific lube. Couple of these Ovonic 1S 450 mAh batteries. Little solid pin PH 2.0 connector. A little whip antenna, and then the best of the 75 mil motor-to-motor frames. This is the Mobula 7 V4. This is the frame to have, and these batteries fit beautifully in this frame. So that's our toothpick giveaway for tonight. Let's see who's gonna win the beginning of a 75 millimeter build. And so I'm gonna share my screen here. Goat is at the ready. These are all the folks' names written down on the tickets that are... Nope, that's not the right one. This is the right one. These are all the folks' names written down on the tickets that are in. Let's see who wins. The Player 1 quad is blowing the tickets away. Hopefully your name stays as long as possible. Max Beamer wins. Congratulations, Max Beamer. I know that you're not in the chat, but he is an OG fella that we've been following each other's Patreons forever. I hope he can use this stuff. I know he primarily flies 5-inch rigs, but maybe we can browbeat him into building a Cinewhoop by sending him some stuff. Congratulations, Max. He took a big break, and then he just recently came back. I was glad to see that he came back. He does a ton. His Patreon is kind of specifically, it's almost kind of specifically for giveaways. So he does, well, he was for a while there. He was doing a ton of giveaways. I remember he was getting really mad when people would like join his Patreon just to get in on a giveaway, and then they would jump off of his Patreon. I remember he made a bunch of Instagram videos like yelling at people for doing that. I was like, oh, I mean, you know, I don't like it when people do that either, but, you know, you do you, I guess. 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop tier is a full set of 2004s by Flash Hobby, 3600 kV. Really good kV, especially for a Cinewhoop. These would be an excellent set of Cinewhoop motors. Flash Hobby doesn't have the best reputation for making the highest quality motors, but I've heard plenty of people that love Flash Hobby motors. You know, the Flash Hobby used to be DYS, and there's tons of people that love those cheap 2306, 2207 Samgook DYS motors. So be a little bit careful with these. Maybe don't fly these a rig with these around, you know, like super famous talent. But for a Cinewhoop that you're just going to get out there and have some fun with, these are absolutely fantastic. And this KV of 3600 is actually pretty rare. So these are great. These will be really nice on like a Cinesplore build. I love 2004s on the Cinesplore builds. So full set of these guys. And let's come in here. And here's everybody that's on that tier. Let's see who's going to win some murders. I got to hit the goat later. It takes a second for this to start blowing tickets away. John Godwin wins. Congratulations, John. I'm going to write your name down and mail you some 2004s. Can I write on this? Yeah, I can. John, Godwin. Can I read that? Probably not. I'm going to write Godwin on this other motor. I can read that. Awesome. Congratulations, John. You've got the beginning of a hell of a Cinewhoop. If you choose to build it on the Cinesplore frame, that is. Next up, we've got the 5-inch tier. And we're doing a frame tonight, frame and a camera. This is a used, but still totally fine working Micro Eagle. This was my favorite analog camera for a long time. It might actually still be my favorite analog camera, if I'm totally honest. It's just great. It's a little bit heavy. I've moved over to the Foxeer Toothless Nano Starlights, and I like how much lighter that they are, but I still have this camera on one of my rigs, and it's actually it used to be the Razorback. I forget which one has one of these, but every time I plug that rig in and look through the camera, I'm blown away at how good it looks. The Micro Eagle is famous for having a bigger sensor, a bigger image sensor than any other FPV camera. I'm also including an RC25G lens, which will give you even wider field of view. The included lens will give you roughly 155 degrees field of view. The RC25G lens will give you roughly 165 to 170 field of view. Really, really good little combo there. The main item, though, is this Avenger 225 HD frame. I think it was Bob Noxious that was telling me that he loves this frame. So this is a full 5-inch frame. I think it's more geared towards long range, maybe. Don't quote me on that though, but I have heard good things about this this Avenger frame here. Comes with a bunch of TPU as well. Everything you need, absolutely brand new, not pre-destroyed by CiottiFPV. So let's see who's gonna win a frame and a camera. And this camera should work perfectly fine. Actually, I can put this camera inside the box. Yeah, this camera should be beautiful in this frame. Here we go. Here's the tickets with the names of everybody interested, not interested, entered rather. Here we go. The propellers spin, the Source 1 blows some tickets away, but the one that remains is Hush. Congratulations, Hush. You're getting a frame. Look under your chair, and there's keys to a free car. Just kidding. I'll send you some stuff, Hush. Congratulations, my man. Now we've got the super chat based giveaway that anybody can get in on. Let me show you what's in that giveaway. First and foremost, you're going to be able to shoot an email over to CiottiFPV and get a set of his brilliant skateboard grip tape transmitter grips in whatever transmitter you've got in whatever color you want. There is a CiottiFPV purple, which is definitely the best color. That'll definitely make you a better pilot than any of the other colors will. Nice, Saber. So keep that in mind. Abraham says, plot twist, Max Bissinger just did a giveaway and sent that shit to CiottiFPV. It's been back and forth between those two for 2 years. Scrolling. Doom Rider says, see you tomorrow. Maybe I should be asleep already. LOL. Yeah, I'm really hoping that I can actually get some sleep tonight to fly tomorrow. But Saturday night, I had a gig that ran from midnight until 6 a.m. I got home, I got like 3 hours of sleep, and then I did yesterday's live stream. And then at the end of yesterday's live stream, I went directly to another gig at this wild. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you are missing out, man. Some of the shit that happens to me when I'm out on these gigs is just ridiculous. Check my Instagram stories for the wildest fucking party. It's arguably the biggest music video producer here in Atlanta. His unbelievable new house and his birthday, and there must have been like 60 big booty hoes there. There were like Lambos everywhere and like hip hop artists, and it was just fucking crazy. As I was leaving, they were doing a twerking contest with $1,000 prize for the biggest booty hoe with the best twerking skills. And there I am, fucking the whitest motherfucker
in the world.
I can't hear it anymore. I'm so sad that I can't hear it. Did I take any of them home with me? No! Yeah, that shit was wild. Okay, so, yeah, CiottiFPV grips. This is a brand new, speaking of Micro Eagles, this is a brand new Runcam Micro Eagle, little slice of history, the best analog PayPal analog camera ever in the world. Vifly XT30 tiny little discharger. Absolutely love these things. If you don't have a couple of them, get some. FPV Exchange memory card holder. Shout out to Nevin over at fpvexchange.com. Amazing website. Get your ass on there. This will hold a whole bunch of SD cards in it. FPV Exchange ND filter holder. I love these. Brain 3D makes these, and I've been using it for literally years. It's just fantastic. This is such a nice thing to have. MMCX CP antenna. if you don't need any of the stuff, if you don't want any of the stuff in this giveaway, just let me know, and I won't include it. But you're welcome to all this stuff. 90-degree MMCX circular polarized True RC antenna, Brain 3D keychain to hang off your bag. If you have a QX7 or if you have a friend with a QX7, this is a screen protector from Ethics. If you're a double XL, Brain 3D shirt for you. And I think this might have been Rampage specific, teal Rotor Riot lanyard strap. Really soft. This is the same material as like the very well known in FPV newbie drone lanyard strap. That's just, I don't know, they used some material that's like beautifully soft. It's like it's as if it's giving your neck a reach around the entire time you're flying. You want to fly better? Get a reach around the whole time, but only on your neck. All right, so to get in on this giveaway for this stuff as well as this, the grip tape things from CiottiFPV, it's a $5 super chat or PayPal to get on the wheel once, $10 to get on the wheel twice, and that's it. PayPal does not take 30% like YouTube and Google do when you're doing a super chat. So if you don't want to support YouTube and Google, head over to CiottiFPV.com. There's a PayPal button. Make sure that you tag me in the chat and say, yo, I just sent you $5 or $10 on PayPal. I will be checking my email, which works pretty good, but just, yeah, double it up to make sure. So that's how it works. Denzel, all right, so let me scroll back up. I thought I was going to forget, but I did not forget. I also need to open my email. Demo FPV sent $10 through PayPal for the giveaway. I think, right? Demo FPV, you were getting in on you were trying to get in on the giveaways early, I'm assuming. So let me grab this. Here we go. Yep, there it is. Okay, so there it is. $10 for Demo FPV, aka me. All right, so let me get the last wheel. Okay, so I've got John Tabley from 2 weeks ago on here twice. Now I'm going to put Demo FPV on here 2 times. You're good to go, Demo. Thank you for the support, my man. And Denzel the Terrible sent 10 Canadian dollars. He says, get me in on that giveaway and make sure that I win. I can definitely get you in. Making sure that you win, though, you know, I'll tell you after the stream how I did that. I can I don't know, words that make people laugh now. I'm tired, man. I am just fucking absolutely exhausted. I couldn't. The cruel twist of fate is that I couldn't sleep last night. I was like overtired last night, and I could not get to sleep. So I'm running on like 6 or 7 hours of sleep in the last 48 to 72 hours. I'm just burned. So I'm gonna at the end of this stream, I'm just gonna lay directly down, and if I can't sleep, I think I'm just gonna fucking lay there all night, stare at the inside of my eyelids, because I'm just broken. Metal Dirtskin says there was definitely a lot of butts in the Instagram. LOL. Wait till you guys see the actual footage that I got. Jesus. I was chasing them booties around, man. I was weaving in and out of traffic. People are walking around. I would like lock onto a booty, and I'd be like, whoa, here I go. And like walking around the pool, and I'm like, whoa, 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 give me that. No, not give me that, but get that booty on film. That's what you want to be a successful cinematic FPV pilot. Chase that booty. Only when you're flying, though. When you're done flying, go home to your nice booty. Don't be disrespectful. Don't disrespect the home booty. Home booty's better than out booty. No! No, 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 no! No, no, no! Denzel the Terrible, you're good to go. Bob Noxious says, I just started Instagram and followed you. Very cool. There's lots of fun shit going on over there. Avix says, I have his purple, my TS100 can confirm it made me better at soldering. There you go. Demo FPV says, PayPal, thanks for the reminder. Restyle with a $5 super chat. He says, hey, Ciotti, I just want to say I'm glad to have joined the community, lurked for a while, chatted a bit on AOI Pyro, but this is my Discord/Patreon. Very cool, Restyle. Thank you for the support. If you want, I can put you on the wheel. From that comment, it sounds like you just wanted to support me, but I'll absolutely put you on the wheel. just let me know. Tag me and say, yes, put me on the wheel once. Your $5 super chat will absolutely get you on the wheel one time. Just let me know if you want that. Great Southern FPV and RC with a 20 Australian dollars super chat. He says, get me on the list, mate. Use whatever's left over for the PS5, my man. I think the Australian exchange is roughly the same, so we're just going to go from 170 to 180 on the PS5 fund, and I'm going to put you on the wheel 2 times, Great Southern. And not the wheel, the randomizer. We got once and we got twice. I know you guys can't see it yet, but it's because I'm going to be clicking in and out of my email, and I don't want you guys to see all of my secret emails. Steven Steinbaker, CMYK FPV with a $10 PayPal. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Thank you, CMYK. You are the man. Hey, if you guys need graphic design done, and I find out that you went with anyone other than CMYK FPV, I'm going to fucking burn your house down. So don't do it. CMYK is an excellent graphic designer who will hook you up with some cool designs and or whatever else you need. CMYK says, PayPal $10. Thank you, brother. Coil Locker says, my grip tape never showed up from the time I won, but I like the idea so much I bought it anyway. Yeah, and you supported TweetFPV, who is an amazing dude. So that's very cool of you to do that, Coil Locker. I'm sure if you'd messaged Tweet, he would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll send it now. But you did the right thing, brother. You supported a dude that's... I'm sure that TweetFPV does not do this full time, but, you know, it's his side hustle, and supporting people who are doing this as their side hustle is a great thing as well. So, very, very cool of you, man. Demo FPV says, yes, the giveaway. All right, we're good. Potato FPV says, how much to get on the giveaway? $5 to get on the wheel once, $10 to get on the wheel twice. Potato FPV, great name. Abraham with a $9.99 super chat. He says, 2 tickets, please. My pleasure, Aber. And once, oops, twice. There we go. All right, Aber, you're on there 2 times. I think I heard my email pop, but let me get through the super chats here real quick. Ernesto says, CiottiFPV, agree. Athix says, cinematic booty chasing. Hell yeah. FamG says, I forgot what booty looks like. Metal Dirtskins with a $10 super chat. He says, as a non-monogamous person, I reject your argument, and so do my wife and girlfriend. And then 2 peach booties. Metal Dirtskin, I'm going to put you on the wheel 2 times. Once, oops, shit. I copied the wrong thing. Okay. Jesus. Them peach booties are the real booties. Restyle says, not a big deal. Let someone who's been around a little while longer win this time. I'll catch the next one. Drury on Discord too. Very cool, Restyle. Very cool of you. Thanks for the support. Potato FPV says, just sent 5 on PayPal. Awesome. I'll get you on here in a second. Actually, I'm just going to throw it in there right now. Potato FPV, you are in the list. Great Southern says, I did you a PayPal as well. Throw Athix FPV in there for a ticket as well. Very cool. Athix, you are going in there once or twice, Great Southern. Put him in here once. I'm going to look at my PayPal, though. There it is. Yep. Okay, cool. So I got PayPal in there one. Thanks again, brother. Very cool of you. And then there you are, Adam, with the $5. All right, cool. So you're on here as well. And I think we should be good to go. Lord Hendrick says, how exactly do you help one tune their quad over the phone in person? So we typically will do a video session with Skype or Zoom. For the first 15 or so minutes, I have a whole shitload of questions that I ask you. Who's your favorite pilot? How much experience you have? What are you doing with your footage? What does the future hold for you? I got a big litany of questions that I ask you to get dialed in on what makes the most sense for the tune. We talk about your specific gear, and then I walk you through Betaflight and get your filters knocked out, get your PIDs knocked out, and I explain to you what I'm doing all the while so that you can actually tune it yourself moving forward. My tunes are not like razor's edge, absolutely every drop of performance that you can get out of them, because those tunes don't crash well. And in my opinion, crashing is a beautiful part of this hobby. So I don't need to use black box, and I can get away with tuning your rigs this way. And as Mike from Gemfan was just talking about, the tunes still fly great. The difference between a safe tune that I'm going to set you up with and a bleeding edge tune in terms of flight performance is almost negligent. It is there. If you look really closely, you can see it. But that difference is so small that in my and pretty much all pro pilots' opinions, and what we do in practice, is to not do that so that we can actually crash and then not lose our rig because it cooks an ESC or a motor as soon as you arm it because the tune is so aggressive. So yeah, I've worked with a ton of people on tuning over the last year or so and a half, and like, yeah, a bunch of them are in chat. They'll tell you how much they love it. Yeah, it's and if you like any of my footage, any of my edits, those are my tunes. They're not super aggressive. They're backed off, but they're sort of intelligent, and they're set up in a way where they target the bad flight behaviors that don't look good in your footage. And yeah, that's what makes a huge difference. It does make a difference in flight feel, but the big thing is that when you look at your footage, you're going to be like, wow, okay, I get it now. Kiz Barlett with a 10-pound super chat. Kiz Barlett, do you want to get in on this giveaway? If so, I think 10 pounds would put you on the wheel twice, so let me know, and I'll put you on here twice. I don't. You just said sups up in your comment, so I don't know if you want to get on this giveaway or not. So let me know real quick. All right, we're going to spin the wheel in a second here. Nathan Day with a really interesting question. Would streaming like this need a 107 just because it's drone related, or is it just the footage you're making money with? The FAA has done a pretty horrible job at being cut and dry with their language. So to me, it's a little bit of a gray area. But in my opinion, doing what I do here, which is mainly answering questions and building shit, I don't think that needs a 107. The way that the language reads to me is that it's about flying. If you're going to make money from flying, and quite frankly, that's all the FAA, in my opinion, is really allowed to control, right? Like, the FAA controls the airspace. They don't control YouTube. They don't control me building shit on my desk. They don't control me answering questions for you guys, right? They control the airspace. So if you're going to be in the airspace and make money off of being in the airspace, they want you to have a Part 107. Totally fair. Absolutely. That's why I got mine, because, you know, the flying gigs and whatnot. And that's completely fair. But in my opinion, me doing a live stream and answering questions and building rigs during the stream, that has nothing to do with the FAA. I've yet to see... here's another thing. The FAA has not sued anyone who does stuff like this. They've only ever sued people who have been flying and have done sketchy shit, typically. So yeah, that's pretty much how it reads to me. If you guys read it a different way, that's fine. But yeah, they have not done a good job with the way that the rule set is. And there's a huge gray area, and like, I don't know. But what it certainly seems like is that they are relatively fair. Typically when you get a phone call from them, it's not, hey, we're sending you a $10,000 fine. It's, hey, we saw you doing some sketchy shit. Do you know that you were in violation of this, that, and the other? It's like the first time that they call you is almost always an educational phone call. Even when you're doing completely absurd, horrible shit like the dude from up in Philly, and giving them the middle finger the entire time. Like, they were very fair with him, and he was just like, fuck you, top to bottom. So they certainly seem like they're pretty fair about it. Although when they dinged NERC, that was a long time ago, and that was pretty blatant. Like, railways and bridges and airports, that's a different story. Like, if you're flying around them, like, you're in violation of everything. So I kind of get it for that with that stuff. But with the Nico Films guys, they were very fair. with a couple other folks that have gotten the phone calls from them that I've talked to. They were very fair. So yeah, they're not out to get you, as long as you're not doing something like blatantly reckless. So yeah. Kiz Bartlett says, yes, please. I got you on the wheel 2 times. Looks like we're good to go. I'm going to check my email one more time, then we're going to spin the wheel. Somebody's going to win some stuff. Clicking get mail. All right, I think we're good to go. If you are not on the wheel and you need to be on the wheel, speak now or forever hold your wiener. Your piece. New patrons, Justin Holby, welcome to the collective. I think I saw another one. Must have been my imagination. Wait, no. Samuel Perez sent... Oh, that was for the shirt. Okay, got it. All right, ready, fools? Let's get it going. Clicking submit. There are the tickets. Sharing my screen. And... Oh, God, I didn't mean to do that. Go. Yeah, it's going to work. It's fine. Here it goes. Somebody's going to win. I wanted to change the duration. John Tabley, congratulations. You have won a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, that's the person from 2 weeks ago. So, here's what we're going to do. One of the problems with doing these giveaways here on YouTube is that I don't have a way of getting in touch with you guys. Like, YouTube does not allow me to message you. So, John Tabley, if you're watching this stuff is yours. Message me. Go to CiottiFPV.com. Ton of ways you can message me. Shoot me a message somewhere. Say, yo, Ciotti, I won. Here's my address. Here's my email for tracking. And I'll send you this stuff. What I'm going to do right now, though, just in case John never messages me, is I'm going to re-roll this. And we're going to get like if John doesn't get back to me in the next like week or two, it's going to go to you kind of thing, right? Does that make sense? So we're going to come in here. I'm going to click play again. And I'm going to hit save. And we're going to roll it again. And we're going to get a, second place or whatever. A backup winner. A backup winner. That's what we're going to get. Ready? Ready? Here we go. The player 1 frame is blowing everything away. The one name that remains is Kiz Bartlett. Congratulations, Kiz. You are the potential winner. Here's what I need from you, Kiz. I need to know which of this stuff you want and which of this stuff you don't want. You're getting this lanyard no matter what. Are you a 2XL? If you wear like a medium shirt, this ain't going to do you any good. But if you want this 2XL Brain 3D shirt, it's all yours. If you or anybody that you know has a QX7 and you want this QX7 screen protector, let me know. Brain 3D keychain you're getting no matter what. This you're getting no matter what. If you don't have any rigs that use XT30s, maybe you don't want this little discharger, but it's a great little discharger. Let me know on this. Runcam Eagle Micro you're definitely getting, and default you're getting. Let me know in the chat right now what you want and what you don't want. Oh, MMCX antenna. If you want this, it's yours. If not, it'll go right back into next week. Not next week. 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from then. Blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna have to leave myself some notes here. What was his name? John Tabley? That might not even be the right fucking name. Because I clicked the button before I had a chance to read it, but I'm pretty sure it was John. So I'm gonna write on here, John Tabley. All right. And then I'm gonna write or Kiz Bartlett. Bartlett. Got it. Kiz, the other thing that I need from you is I need you to shoot me a message, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, with your name, Do me a favor in that message, just be like, yo, I'm the second place person. Let me know which of this stuff you want, which of this stuff you don't want. There's only a couple things that are kind of up in the air. And 2XL is good, awesome. Only thing I don't need is QX7 screen protector. All right, cool. So I'm gonna put that aside. Yeah, shoot me a message. Tell me, hey, I'm the second place person. If John Tabley doesn't get in touch with you, I need your name, your address, your email address for tracking, and that's it. For your skateboard grip. Well, nope. I gotta let you know. I gotta wait on that because technically that goes to John Tabley. So I'm gonna put this stuff aside. I left myself a little note. Yeah, John, if you're watching this on repeat, because I don't see you in the chat, congratulations, brother. If John never gets back to me, though, congratulations, kids. And that, my friends, is how you do that. What are we doing here on tonight's live stream? Did I get everything? Did I get anything? Hold on, let's see. Quit out of this. So we talked about the StanFPV 5-inch Cinewhoop duct flight testing, Razorback rebuild, but it's after 12, so I'm gonna just remove Razorback rebuild from the title of the stream and hit save. And this brings us to the end of the live stream, friends. Unless somebody's got like a quick question, feel free. Abraham says, couldn't you just search your Gmail for messages from 2 Mondays ago? That search my Gmail. What would Gmail do? If he did a PayPal, I could search PayPal for it. I'm not still sharing my screen, am I? Nope. So if he did a PayPal, I can search my PayPal for it, which I'm doing now. But if he did a super chat, it'll just say John Tabley, which doesn't do me any good. Denzilla Terrible says, what kind of hair products do you use? I don't. I literally just wake up this way. I woke up today at 4 p.m. I couldn't go to sleep until 1 p.m. This has been a wild couple of days. That party last night, Jesus. Hold on, let me, I'll give you guys just I'll give you guys just a real quick little look at this fucking party. It was something else, yo. I've never seen anything like this. This must be like a $2 million house, and I wouldn't be surprised if they spent like 20 grand on this party. It was just nutty. Let's see. 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, here we go. Read MK. Nah, it must have been a super chat. I think I remember it being a super chat because, yeah. All right, check this shit out. It's gonna play like total ass on this old computer, but you'll still be able to see frozen images of booties. Look at this, yo. Oh, this is the one. Wow, it plays so bad on here. Jesus. That's like the one file where I wasn't actually flying around. Let me bring the volume down because it's going to be Cinewhoop. And... okay. Oh man, it's not doing well. Jesus. Yeah, you guys might have to wait for the actual edit. This is just... there you go, though. Yeah, there were just strippers everywhere. It was just crazy. Oh, shit. And I was being I was being such a ham. There's a big booty chase there. There's a little big booty chasing. Yeah. Roger's house is just amazing. And this was, I've never seen a party like this before. This was nuts. This was like, this was more nutty than like wedding receptions that I've been to. So yeah, that's what I was up to last night. Just crazy, man. I was flying under those little thingies. I think I might, nah, this isn't where I did it, but yeah, there you go. That's how I spent my night last night. Wild. I saw a whole bunch of people I knew there. Most of the men at this event were, you know, friends or coworkers, colleagues, whatever, of Roger's, and he's a producer. So, a lot of people that I've worked with on gigs over the last year and a half. So that was really cool to reconnect with some of those guys, and I met a whole bunch of new people. So that was pretty wild. It's not in Atlanta. It's this is like outskirts, half an hour outside of Atlanta, where the prices come down quite a bit, and it's actually on the south side where the prices are down even more. But yeah, last night it was just very surreal. It was very surreal to be there. As like, you know, it was just like I was the most out of place person there, but then like it didn't matter because like people would see me flying and just be like, "Holy shit, dude, how are you doing that?" And I had the second set of DJI goggles, so I just kept giving them to people and just blowing people's minds, and it was just super cool because like, you know, as like everybody, like there was a lot of like people looking at me like that, like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? But then, you know, I put the goggles on and start doing my thing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, and there's just people coming over like, dude, that's the sickest shit ever. And I met a bunch of like other directors and other producers there, and I handed out a shitload of my magnets, and so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I book a bunch of work from this, which is great because as I was talking on yesterday's stream, like I did this for exposure. This was you know, a totally unpaid gig, but Roger has, he has put me on with a ton of people. Like he has, referred a ton of business my way. So, you know, he was like, dude, thank you so much for coming out. I'm like, Roger, please, man. Like, this is the absolute least that I can do. I'm here having fun, hanging out with cool people, and, you know, giving you some awesome footage to edit down for a memory that'll last forever, you know, because he just bought this house, and this is his first big party with it, and he's doing some big shit. He's moving from music videos to actual feature-length films, which is just nuts. It's a very hard thing to do. So yeah, really, what a weekend, man. What a weekend. I'm a lucky dude. So stay tuned. Lots more coming. Love you guys. Let me get caught up really quick on the chat, and then we'll wrap this up, and I'll see you guys Whoop Wednesday at 8 o'clock this Wednesday. We're going to knock out another Mobula 6. Nobula 6. Should I start calling it the Nobula 6? We're gonna knock out another Nobula 6 ELRS build to further test 0802s versus 0702s. What I realized tonight as well, I think the 0802 30,000 kV motors might be better suited for a Mobula 7 build. And I have my pulled apart Mobula 7. So if I'm not impressed with the 0802 30,000s on this Mobula 6 ELRS, I'm probably going to move them over to the Mobula 7 V4 frame with the 1.6 inch biblades versus the, you know, Mobula 6 1.2 inch biblades, and maybe that'll bring the Mobula 7 to life. It's still going to be too heavy, I think, but it'll be interesting. Metal Dirtson says some kind of glimpse into the deepest recesses of my subconscious. Left Step says, but what did you crash into? Nothing. No crashes last night. Even though I wanted to just plant my quad's face into them big booty hoes. Bob Noxious says, with the last comment of the night, I want to see you shoot a booty clap gap. Thanks for hanging, guys. Thanks for all the support. You guys are the best. I love every single one of you. A little bit more than the last. I don't know. Be good, friends. I'll see you Wednesday night. I'm gonna try to do a Gran Turismo 7 stream tomorrow. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Here comes some flying. Here comes some big booty hose. No, here comes some flying. Music video. No, that ain't it. Flow cube. Might be something good in here. Later. Here's some subpar flying from your gangly friend, CiottiFPV. Later.